is Allison.
Her birthday is December 13th.
She has 3 cats, Meredith, Olivia, and Benjamin Button.
If I could miss anyone, it'd probably be Ariana Grande.
I hope that we can be together soon. I really need a hug. I really miss you a lot, Naya.
Either of you ever met the woman?
And how fucking dare anyone out there make fun of Britney after all she's been through?
The definition of a parasocial relationship is as follows. A parasocial relationship is a one-sided relationship where one person, the fan, extends emotional energy, interest, and time, while the other, the persona, usually a celebrity, is largely unaware of the fan's existence. The term was coined in 1956 by psychologists Donald Horton and R. Richard Wool. They noticed that people have a psychological connection to their favorite singers and actors, and that these relationships are often asymmetric, with fans feeling closer to the persona than the persona is to the fans. When you hear this, your mind might immediately jump to crazy stalker fans, but those are just the most extreme and rare cases of parasocial relationships. But the question remains, are these relationships healthy? How do we know when we're using these relationships to replace real human connection? And how can we manage these asymmetrical feelings?
I love you guys. You have no idea how much I love you.
We love you!
I love you guys so much.
I love you too.
Let's be fair. Parasocial relationships aren't all bad. Based on further research, websites like Everyday Health, Cleveland Clinic, Harvard Health, and even Time magazine have found that having an emotional connection to a celebrity is not only normal, but even healthy for one's well-being. In our digital age, we're constantly exposed to celebrities through platforms like social media, interviews, and other forms of media. So it's not uncommon that we become attached to these people when we get such an in-depth peek into their lives. And despite being one-sided, parasocial relationships have actually helped people feel less lonely, especially during COVID-19 lockdown. They can also help people realize what traits they value in relationships, based on what they admire in celebrities. This closeness also helps with decreasing stigma, as when a celebrity opens up about having anxiety, mental or physical disorders, people will view it as natural because someone they look up to has it, and it also brings awareness. And surprisingly, celebrities thrive off parasocial relationships. Think about it like this. If you want to watch football and a team you don't have investment in is playing, you're less inclined to watch the game. It's the same thing with celebrities. If you don't have any attachment to a celebrity, the less likely you are to interact with their content. Actually, most singers use parasocial relationships to market new albums. Take Taylor Swift. When she was marketing the re-recordings of her albums, she would describe them in a way that made them feel like ours and hers and the fans. It was a strategic move to create a special connection between the fans and the album in order to boost sales. And it worked, because her re-recorded albums have become some of her best-selling albums in her entire music career. But this isn't just common to Taylor Swift. South Korea had been marketing off parasocial relationships since the dawn of K-pop. This quote from YG Entertainment says it all. To market the music, you must market the idol first. Not only does it help marketing and money-making strategies, but it has helped win court cases. People felt such an attachment and investment in watching Johnny Depp, their favorite celebrity, win a court case, that people began doing their own investigations into Amber Heard's testimonies to help him win. However, there is a darker side to all this. Parasocial relationships are and can be healthy as long as you know you're in one.
If you keep calling me like this, it's really bothering me.
I legally changed my name to Caroline Melissa Taylor because of Taylor Swift.
That look, that stare, those glasses going down in that point, that wasn't with the crowd. That was for me.
Shooter traveled to Orlando with the intent to kill. Grimmy's death stunning the music industry.
So when do parasocial relationships cross the line from harmless to unhealthy? It usually happens when you start replacing real-life interactions. If you catch yourself turning to celebrities for emotional support more than your actual friends and family, that's a big issue that needs addressing. Another warning sign is expectations. If you feel hurt, upset, or even angry if you don't get content from a celebrity or if they date someone, then that means the balance of the relationship is off and you need to pull away from interacting with media or surrounding them. The biggest issue here is the impact on mental health, especially for younger generations. Today, you're not only growing up in a world where boundaries between reality and online life are increasingly blurred, but these relationships can also contribute to loneliness and isolation. For young teens and adults, parasocial connections can start to take over, defining your sense of happiness, self-worth, and even your self-esteem. And it's not just emotional distress. It can also impact social development. People, especially young people who invest too much into these one-sided connections, might find it challenging to form deep, trusting relationships in real life. They set unreasonable standards for celebrities and the people around them, and then end up feeling disappointment or even resentment when those expectations aren't met. This is particularly true when it comes to youth with high attachment anxiety. They often crave closeness and reassurance, but simultaneously fear rejection or abandonment in relationships. Parasocial connections become a risk-free, safe space, yet, ironically, they end up isolating them even more. And as stated before, these relationships can become obsessive to the highest degree. The most brutal example of this is the tragic murder of Christina Grimmie. She reached stardom through YouTube, affectionately calling her fans Frans, friends plus fans, making her seem approachable. A crazed fan, Kevin James Loibel, had developed a delusional and erotic fixation on her, convinced they were in a relationship. When his advances weren't reciprocated, she was shot dead at a concert. Not only can these relationships, at their worst, harm the person receiving the affection, but the person giving the affection, too. An extreme example occurred in 1996, when Ricardo Lopez was hopelessly attached to Ukrainian singer Bjork. His fixation with her led him down a dark path as he created video diaries documenting his crumbling mental state, fueled by his belief in their personal connection. It culminated in a tragic loss as his unhealthy obsession took its toll. Parasocial bonds can suck us in like quicksand, but if we're not careful, we do get stuck in a loop.
In all seriousness, I think it's so important for us to acknowledge that parasocial relationships are inherently real relationships, and like any fully, properly functioning relationship, you just need to understand and know what the boundaries are around those specific relationships.
A parasocial relationship starts with awareness. Influencers and celebrities show only one carefully curated slice of their lives, shaped by editing, scripting, and selective publishing. Remembering this will help prevent unrealistic expectations. It's also important to notice your emotional investment. Ask yourself whether you feel like you depend on them comfort more than real people, or you get jealous if they interact with others, or always feel the need to defend them. Setting intentional boundaries can help, whether that means limiting how often you check on them, avoiding comparisons to their lifestyles, separating your self-worth from their approval, or muting notifications when they become overwhelming. Boundaries don't take away your enjoyment, they just keep admiration from turning into dependence. Strengthening your real-life connections also matters, because parasocial bonds work best when they support, not replace, genuine friendships. So making time for friends, family, clubs, and hobbies helps create healthy balance. Keeping your identity separate is equally important, since it's easy to tie your personality to a fandom or creator. Finally, taking breaks when needed is healthy. If following someone starts making you anxious, sad, or overly attached, stepping back can reset your perspective and help restore emotional stability. But why is this important? Learning about parasocial relationships is important because they shape how many young people understand connection, identity, and media. As influencers and celebrities feel more accessible than ever, students can easily form one-sided emotional bonds without realizing how these relationships affect their self-esteem, expectations, or mental health. Teaching this topic in schools helps students build media literacy, recognize unhealthy patterns, and develop stronger real-life relationships. By understanding how online intimacy works, they can navigate digital spaces with more awareness, balance, and emotional resilience. I hope this video gave you an insight into the complex world of parasocial relationships, the goods and bads, and how to manage such. And yes, in another world, you and that celebrity are best friends, just not in this one.